Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to Volvo in Tonbridge to get the latest software update, which is really exciting. So there are numerous additional things that are mentioned on online about this new Polestar update, and some of those include things like some changes to the sound system and apparently some changes to the reversing camera display. Some range improvements that some people claim, and also some changes to things like DC charging. So there's a potential for a lot of really interesting stuff in this particular update. So it will be really interesting to see if any of those things are actually noticeable or particularly useful over the next few days. So yeah, this drive I'm going to go to Volvo in Tonbridge. Normally I go to Worthing. It's not really that different, to be honest, in terms of distance. The Worthing one's a little bit shorter to drive to, maybe 15 minutes less, but Tonbridge could fit me in quicker, which was really nice. So yeah, let's have a look at we're going to see what the range is like. Again, it's really cold, so it's -1 at the moment, but it's nice and clear and sunny, dry roads today, and starting off at 90% battery with 240-mile range. And we're going to see what it's like driving there and then driving back, and just have again another look at consumption, as well as talk a little bit about the update and any changes that I've noticed once the car's been done. So yeah, let's just have a look at Google Maps before we head off. Okay, so on the display, I've been preconditioning for, as always, about 30 minutes, and let's head over to the maps, and yeah, Volvo cars in Tonbridge. So it's saying 50 minutes if I take this route, with 58% remaining when we get there. If I take that route, it's a lot slower, 1 hour and 7 minutes, but it's showing, now this takes time to update, it's showing 58%, but that will change. It's just quite slow. So you see, it still hasn't done it, which is really interesting, because there you go, 68%. So it took quite a long time to update the change in percentage. So that will use a lot less battery, but I'm going to take the longer route, because that lets me go on the motorway. It's quicker, and I'll be able to have a little look at some of the range information. So we're going to hit start on there. So just heading over to the display, and as always, if you look at this, let's do click to reset. I've just crossed over the 4,000 mile mark, which is good. Okay, so yeah, we're all good to go, and let's head off. Okay, so before we leave, I noticed that a couple of warnings appeared on the display here. So let's have a look at this. 2 warnings detected. Tap for details. Parking climate. Parking climate is temporarily unavailable. Okay, well, I don't know why that is. What's the other one? Parking climate is unavailable because the desired temperature is already reached. Okay, cool. So I must have tried to reactivate it and it was already warm enough. Let's just cancel those. How do we actually get rid of them? Good question. I don't know. So if I hit cancel, they don't seem to go away. Maybe they just go away on their own. Well, yeah, we'll just see what happens. Hopefully those will disappear during the drive. Okay, so we've arrived at Volvo in Tonbridge, and temperature here is -1. It's really cold. It was -2 for some of the drive. So yeah, it's a really cold day for down in the south of England. And overall consumption there was 41.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. I averaged about, yeah, it was about 60 miles an hour according to the average display there. But yeah, I was, it was sort of, you know, moving in and out of a lot of vehicles, so there was some times where I had to speed up quite a bit. So I wasn't hanging around, let's just say that. I was hammering a little bit, and trying to you know, drive the car as you want to when you're on the motorway, and you're sort of enjoying the drive as well. So yeah, that's consumption wise. It used 30% of the battery, so we got here with exactly 60%. And that means, yeah, 30% of the battery to travel 47.8 miles. So yeah, it looks like we could do that 3 times, 150 miles. That's on 90% of the battery with 10% spare. So yeah, a bit over 150 miles if you're driving like that all the time. But it will be interesting to get this update done now and see what it's like driving back, and whether the consumption is any different. It probably will be, because it'll have warmed up. But we'll average it out when we've done the whole drive today. Okay, so the software update is done, and that took about an hour and 15 minutes, not very long. And Tonbridge is a really nice place, actually. I don't come here very often. It's a long time since I've been here. It's a really nice town, and the nice thing about Tonbridge Volvo is that you can walk into the town centre. It's only about 15 minutes, and it's a nice walk along the river. And there's a few places you can get takeaways and get some food now during this lockdown. But yeah, if you are in this area and this is where you're going to be bringing your Volvo, yeah, Tonbridge Volvo is a really nice place to go to. Very helpful and very friendly service, as always, from Volvo. So yeah, let's have a look at what's different. I have not seen this new version of software, so I'm not going through everything to highlight all the differences, but you can see here on the screen, while I'm talking, I'm going to put up the list of things that they've changed. And I did go through this in one of the other videos, but let's have a look at the screen and the display and how you know that you've got this new software. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, if you get into the car, you're going to see this. And the first thing that you'll notice is LTE showing up here instead of 4G. So that's a display change. It's not a change as far as I'm aware in terms of what you actually are going to get in terms of your data speed. It's just now it displays it as LTE instead of 4G. So the other significant issue I was having was to do with being able to connect to the Wi-Fi. So let's see if I can tether to my phone now. We will go to the settings here and go to network and internet. Now this has changed. So we now have car SIM data on and off, and then we have a Wi-Fi menu. So we've got Wi-Fi turned on and then a preferences, which is exactly the same as it was before. So let's, well, those are the Volvo Wi-Fi networks that are available at the moment. And let's just turn on the hotspot on my phone and we'll see if that shows up or not. Okay, so hotspot is now on my phone, and we will we'll just wait and see if anything shows up. Oh, there we go. So this is what I was hoping to see. This is my phone here, and we'll now have to enter the password. Okay, password has been entered, and it appears to be saved. And let's see if it actually connects to it. I'll tap on it, see what happens. There we go. So we are now connected to the Wi-Fi. And that is a really good thing. Thank you, Polestar. I really appreciate this. It is nice to now have working Wi-Fi. That was my main issue before. So you'll probably, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll have seen that's something that I've commented a lot. 4G was annoying to have problems with, but the biggest issue for me was not having the Wi-Fi, because you can have a 4G dropout and you can tether to your phone. Most people have tethering available these days. If you don't, then of course that's unfortunate, definitely. But for me, I've always had tethering available on my phone. So if I lose 4G, I can just tether to my phone, and that's not really a big deal. But losing that ability to do that was frustrating, and also not being able to connect to a home Wi-Fi network while you're there if you're fiddling around or something, because I don't have very good signal at home. So I'm really pleased to see that that now works. This is the first time in a few months that I've been able to connect to the Wi-Fi. So yes, thank you, Polestar. I really appreciate that. Okay, so now that we've sorted out the Wi-Fi, let's go back and have a look at what we'll see in this page here. So let's go to the system page, and we'll just have a little look at the about over here. So you can now see that we've got Android security patch level 1st of December 2020 and Android 10, which is what people expect to see with the newest update. So I don't know what else has changed, I'm not sure, but oh look, software update, automatic software download, that wasn't there before. So I'll turn that on, and yeah, we can I'll probably fiddle around later and see what things have changed, but it's good to see that that has changed. Now, the other thing that people mention is the sound. The sound experience has added an additional option, which is for surround sound on, and you've got this slider here, looks like a slider, yeah, to change the spatial element of the sound. So yeah, I'm going to test that out, see what it's like, and yeah, hopefully that adds some useful benefit. But that's fine for now. Mainly the Wi-Fi was the thing I wanted to get working, and I think it's time to head back. I'm going to head back almost exactly where I started from, not quite home. This time I'm heading into work at Horsham Coffee Roaster. So that is coming up as a 47-minute drive, 43 miles with 37% remaining. So we're on a battery level here of 59%, and let's we've taken the data. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do click to reset, and I'm going to clear that away. And I'm going to start fresh with the trip manual. The car's been warming up for a few minutes, and yeah, 47-minute drive, 37% on arrival, and let's see what happens. So just before we actually head off, something that popped into my mind is, remember I said that we use 30% to get here, and I am driving the same route back. It's almost exactly the same number of miles, but this time Google Maps is estimating it's going to take 22%. So that's 8% less on the Google Maps estimate, which is... I'm a little surprised by that. Temperatures increased by a couple of degrees, but not by much. So yeah, I don't know. I should have checked that estimate before I let them update the software to see what it was saying. But it's quite interesting to see what it's estimating. So let's head off and see what we get back with, and we'll be able to compare the percentage of battery used on the way here versus the way back. Okay, so I'm back from that drive, and yeah, really nice to get back in the car and drive it, and also to have stable 4G throughout that drive, which is a really nice thing to have. I tried out that sound surround thing, and it's kind of funny. All the things that I think people are asking for with the Polestar, like proper charging speed, maybe better information on energy consumption, things like that, and they add a surround feature to the audio. I don't really understand why, because yeah, for me it just made it sound worse. Yeah, it gives you sort of this like surround kind of effect, but I'm a home theater fan, and I like at home I've got a fairly nice 7.2.2 Dolby Atmos surround system that's nicely set up, and for me, like, these surround things that you get in cars like this, they're kind of gimmicky. They give you this sort of sensation of like a wider sound field perhaps, but I thought it actually made it sound worse, so I turned it off after fiddling around for a while. Yeah, weird feature. I mean, some people might love it, but yeah, of all the things to choose, that wouldn't have been the one that I would have gone for. But yeah, pretty good. I can't really think of much else to say. One thing that actually, yeah, look at these shots. This is the M23, right? And I managed to film this with the dash cam while I was driving along there, and you can see the markings on the road are really unclear. It's very hard with the sunlight in winter to be able to tell where the lanes are. And that's the same for the car. The pilot assist just gives up on that section of road. This has happened to me a few times. They did a lot of construction work over the last few years to widen the M23, and they have not done a good job of sorting out the paint marks. They've tried to paint over them with black paint, but it's so shiny that the car can't tell which ones are the ones to follow. And actually, neither can some of the drivers. You see people sort of weaving around, and on a motorway in the UK, I'm really surprised they got away with that. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. The pilot assist gives up on motorway roads or dual carriageways where the lines are not clearly painted, or where there's duplicates like that and it can't tell which one's the one to follow. But let's look at consumption. So I actually did really well. 37.9 on the way back, which is better than on the way out, which is about 41. Not a huge difference, but the temperature was the same. So it was 0, -1. Yeah, the battery probably was warmer, and so I'd expect it to be a little better. But the average for that drive was 39.5, which, again, that's not bad at all if you think about it. So let's assume 72.5 usable battery, and that would give us a range of 184 miles or so. So yeah, not fantastic. I'm not saying it is, but at a temperature of sort of 0, -1, that's kind of what you can expect at the moment from the Polestar. Now, it'll be interesting. I'm going to hopefully do the same range test that I did yesterday with the car tomorrow morning, post software update, and that is my sort of 17 mile each way, 34 mile round trip range test. If you haven't seen that video, it was posted yesterday, so you could take a look. I'm going to try it again tomorrow. Temperatures forecast to be almost exactly the same as it was yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how that performs. Now we arrived with 37%. That's interesting. It looks like we used just 22% on the way back, but we used 30% of the battery on the way out. So that's really interesting. If we do a slightly different calculation, we did 43 miles. So that's actually 43 divided by 22 is 1.95 miles per percent. That would give us 195 miles from 100% battery on the basis of that journey back today. So if you use it, the percent-based calculation, that is a lot better than the way out. Now, again, I'm just speculating here because this is not a scientific test in any way. The way back, I'm guessing the battery was warmer, a few different factors to consider, but that is something to think about. Now, I've seen a few mentions on the internet of this update unlocking some of the battery. And what has been mentioned is that Polestar had quite a generous reserve once you reached 0%. And the rumor is that some of that has been reduced. So now when you get to 0%, you have less reserve, which means that the car is using or allowing you to use more of its battery before you hit 0%. That kind of, yeah, I guess that's possible. It'd be interesting to see if that's true. I haven't had Polestar tell me that's the case. But yeah, how much reserve do you really need at 0%? Most people are quite sensible. I wouldn't want to push it to 0%, but if the manufacturer leaves 15 to 20 miles, that's quite a lot of battery that people aren't using on a daily basis. Leaving, say, 5 miles of reserve might be more realistic or more reasonable to do. So yeah, it's quite possible that they've done that, and it'll be interesting to see if that is the case over the rest of the next few videos. So hopefully this has been useful, a little bit of information on the update, and I'll be doing more videos over the next few weeks to try and see if it's improved the range or improved the battery management and also improved charging as well. So yeah, I'll be back again with another video very soon, and thanks for watching.